Om Tat Sat. My humble prostrations to the all-pervading Brahman, to my worshipful Guru Swami Jyotirmananji Maharaj, to all the sages and saints of this world, and to you divine souls watching this satsang. Today we are continuing part 2 of Sutra number 15 that we had covered yesterday. I will repeat the sutra again, and then we will get into the 4 types of vairagya or dispassion. So the sutra is Drishta Anushravik Vishaya Vaitrishnasya Vashikara Sangya Vairagyam. So this meant, and we covered this yesterday, those who do not have hankering for objects seen or heard of have attained lower vairagya named Vashikara or control. So this is the first fruit of a serious aspirant. All his efforts, when he starts seeing these results, they are putting him into this qualified stage of a sadhak. Sadhak is somebody who's a serious aspirant. So we had talked about the different types of enjoyments one sees. One for the pleasure senses, they are drishta and anushravik, and there were 2 in there. But vairagya, which we talked about and we are going to study in more detail today, is it takes time to develop vairagya. It takes consistent practice over a long period of time. So don't get frustrated. Just enjoy the nectar like a honey bee that is collecting the nectar from the flower. Enjoy the process while you're at it. So that's the important thing here. Vairagya, there are 4 stages to that, and that's what we want to cover. So the first one is Yata Manam, which is the striving stage. Yata Manam, which means we are new to the process and therefore we are learning. And what happens in that stage? The impurities in the form of impressions of love and hatred drive the senses to sense objects. That's why we can't control our senses. They become so overpowering sometimes, and these sense objects in turn intensify the impressions of love and hatred. We call it raga and dvesha. So if we have a positive experience, we want to keep doing it, and if we have a negative experience, we want to keep avoiding it. And but in this stage of vairagya, the first stage, the aspirant thinks again and again on the defects of attachment and hatred, like and dislike, because both of them don't give you satisfaction. They will keep on repeating, and we are always in that agitated state of reaction. So in this case, that sadhak is now repeatedly thinking of the nature of objects. He endeavors to renounce attachment and hatred by keeping away from the objects, which means he takes control instead of the objects controlling him. Think of addiction, where people get addicted to liquor or to cigarettes or to whatever, and then it is such a pathetic state that then they are hurting themselves. Even body parts sometimes get damaged, and yet they can't give it up. So this is the counter of that, where you, by your logic and senses, are evaluating not just these intoxicants and bad things, but even things that are in the normal sense of the world, objects, material objects, possessions, where you start questioning the need for so much and so many things. It starts to make sense to you to really focus on yourself. You start renouncing attachment and hatred by keeping away, and you start practicing virtues. Ahimsa paramo dharma. You think of non-violence being important. Why? Because we don't like violence. We don't like if we get hurt, so therefore we should not be hurting others. Those kind of things start to take hold, and by good association, we want to keep good company, we want to be with good people, repetition of the Lord's name, and many similar methods. So this is how we are working in the very initial stages to try to curb these desires of raga and dvesha, attachment and hatred. So this is the striving stage, right? The first stage, which is called Yata Manam. The second one is Vyatirekam. Vyatirekam. This is called the differentiating stage. So now that you have practiced the first stage, Yata Manam, you're progressing. So now you're basically becoming aware of the conscious different degrees of dispassion towards different objects. So you're seeing that some things you're able to give up, but some things you are not. Some, for example, your eyes may have discipline, but ears may not, or the other way around. Or you may be able to give up one food item, but the other one you just cannot. And that is okay. But it's still progress, because you have progressed from where you were initially. But now you are being able to differentiate, and slowly you can say, okay, you will be able to know what things you need to work on more, and that's progress. He is aware of the degrees of dispassion, and even with the degrees you can do more and more penance and control and so on. So you're starting to become sensitive. That's the point. The third one is called ekendriyam, one sense stage. So in this, your senses are mastered. You have now become the lord of the senses, but the mind is still uncontrolled. You have been able to control the senses, but remember, the senses, the master of the senses is the mind. The mind is still uncontrolled, but it's still good progress, because now we have reached to the mind stage. The impurities of the mind, which are the impressions of hatred and attachment, raga dvesha, have become so weak that they cannot move towards the senses to the sense objects. So that's a good sign that although the mind wants something, but you have gained so much with your practice, you have gained that power that the senses will not be able to sway you. But the vasanas of the subtle mind still remain. So now it has come at the subtle level. The mind still wants it. You didn't give it because you've controlled the external senses, but internally the mind is not happy because you didn't give it what it wanted. So therefore that troubles the aspirant at this stage. But internally you know that you have to control it, and slowly with time it will get better. But this is the third stage, and that's why it's called one-pointed stage. You have been controlling the external senses very well, and now mind is left. And fourth one is called Vashikaram, which means it's the controlled state. You are the master now. When the subtle impurities of the mind are removed and the mind has regained serenity and its perfect balance. See, mind comes and it gets in perfectly equipoised balanced state. It is known as Vashikara, which means at that point you have controlled the mind. And that is what Arjuna was talking about. It's hard to control. But see, Sage Patanjali is saying you follow these 4 steps and you will get to that stage. So mind is not distracted by the presence of celestial or non-celestial objects. So it's a fairly high stage where we are able to control whatever we want. We become the masters of our destiny. But to get to that stage, of course, it will take our effort, it will take our discipline, but it's a great aspiration to be on that path. So Buddha, some of you may have seen the story of Buddha, and during his enlightenment process he was severely tested, and every serious aspirant is tested. Buddha actually attained it and he got famous, so you see all those things, but everybody on this path of self-realization has to go through those kind of tests. And in Buddha's case, he was celestial nymphs from the heavenly world came and they tried to seduce Buddha, and he did not give in to temptation. On the other side, there were all these terrible demoniac forces of air, water, fire, wind, all that tried to distract him, and he remained equipoised in both circumstances, and he eventually got enlightened. But to that extent, what here Sage Patanjali is saying is Vashikaram. You actually get to that state where these sense objects no longer control your destiny. Who controls it? You do. So anybody who wants it bad enough will be able to get it. And that's pretty much what the belief of Sanatana Dharma is, that self-realization is everybody's property. There is no trademark or no copyright or no this or that. It belongs to God. The air, water, fire, air, ether, all these things belong to God particle, God's energy. We are the ones just using these resources and getting stuck in name and form and creating our own world and getting lost in that process. So I hope this is making sense to you? I hope you are understanding the profundity of these sutras. So there is perfect indifference towards all enjoyments because there is no subtle desire left in the mind. This is that fourth state. There is no subtle desire. So that's not a pathetic state, mind you. You are so happy. That peace that's coming from you is far greater than what you have given up. So it's therefore very doable. But you just have to learn to connect to that source of nectar. The senses become meek, but yet the impressions of the afflictions are not burnt up. Even in Vashikaran state, you have been perfectly been able to control that state, but you haven't reached asampragyata samadhi, which means you are not getting agitated by even celestial attractions and so on. But that does not mean you are self-realized. See, a lot of people don't understand the depth of what self-realization, which means God's energy revealing itself. Sutra number 15, by saying that even the fourth state of Vairagya, which is Vashikaran, is part of the initial stages. It is still not self-realization. To attain self-realization, we still have to cross different stages. Sage Patanjali will walk us through each one, but he's basically saying you are at a very high stage at this point. You are on one of the highest peaks, but it is not the highest peak. You still have to climb Everest, and that is called asampragyata samadhi, which is the highest super consciousness state brought about by paravairagya. So currently we are in the vairagya state, which means we are in the dispassion state, and through dispassion we get all these summits that we have been climbing. But then we have to graduate to extreme dispassion, and that's where we get into the deeper portion of asampragyat samadhi, which we will be covering in the later sutras. I hope you enjoyed this sutra. I hope you're enjoying these explanations. If you're liking these things, liking the sutras and this profound knowledge, please share it with your comments, share it with others, and continue to subscribe to this channel so we can all enjoy and revel in the glory of Sanatana Dharma. This is Swami Nikhilananda. Om Tat Sat.